Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to share with you the top 5 t-shirt design styles of 2025 so far. And not only am I going to do that, but I'm going to show you what the styles are, where to find it on Etsy, how to get these designs for you on different AI apps including Ideogram, Playground, and Mystic, and where to find graphics for it on Canva and Creative Fabrica. And I'm going to show you a prompt that can help you do these designs in AI if you want to do it with a prompt too. So much in this video. Hopefully this video gives you so much value, and let's get right into it and I'll show you the top 5. So the first one I'm calling vintage fruit labels. So you can see here on Etsy, this is how I found it. Vintage fruit t-shirts, and you can see this is the results, and you've probably seen these before if you've been on Etsy. Basically it's a vintage illustration of fruit, and it kind of looks like a fruit stand or a fruit advertisement where the name is big of what the fruit is, and then there's some little text around it, different ones. So I'm going to scroll down here. You can see this lychee one, this cherry one, papaya, so all the different fruits. It's very popular on Etsy. So it's basically got any fruit that you can think of: pomegranates, strawberries, guavas, clementines, and the list goes on and on. So I'm not saying you should copy these, but this is the style that you're gonna see. So you can change out the words, change out the illustration, and then try and make a design like this that looks like a vintage fruit stand or vintage advertisement for fruit. Now, where can you find some of these graphics? Well, I'm gonna go into AI first. First, Ideogram. You come in here and you type in search. So I did vintage fruit t-shirt in the search on Ideogram, and look at this. There's AI art for these already done. So you can come in here, put in a prompt, remix these things, and have it laid out. There's mangoes here and guavas and all these, really cool. But not only Ideogram, but you can go to Playground and do food. So I'm in the t-shirts section, the templates, and I just clicked on food, and you can see there's some other ones here, ripe and strawberries and another strawberries and so on. So there's a bunch of that on here. But let's go to Mystic and see what they have. I got t-shirt templates, and they have a fruit one too, and they also have strawberries and pineapples and lemons and all these things. So very popular right now on all the AI apps. I'm going to show you on Creative Fabrica if you're using this. If you don't use any of the AI apps, don't worry, you can go to Creative Fabrica, and I typed in here vintage fruit, and take a look at these. Already done. I would definitely not use these as is. I would come in here and change the words, at the very least use the graphics. But these are a great start to any of these that you want to do. But let's take it a step further and go to Canva. So Canva, I go in here, I'm going to type in, here, vintage fruit, and take a look at that. So you can use these pomegranates, you can use these. This one's actually free. This one's free if you're using Canva, and you can put your text in here and all that. But one more thing that you might not have thought of is you can go to design templates and type in vintage fruit, and there's some vintage fruit ideas here too. Now again, don't copy these, change the text on it, maybe replace the blueberries with some other blueberries here and so on. So you can do it in all these different ways. This is a really popular one, and I wanted to share with you one more thing, and this is a prompt that I came up with, or ChatGPT helped me come up with, that you can use in AI if you want to do something different and want to start from scratch with a prompt. Okay, so the prompt works kind of like this: a vintage inspired fruit advertisement t-shirt design featuring, and then you put your fruit name in there, so you can put in watermelon, strawberry, whatever, mangoes. Hand-drawn in a retro illustration style, include detailed realistic artwork for the fruit name, so strawberries again, or whatever it was the first one, sliced and whole, so it kind of gives you that differences there, with leaves and natural textures. Use bold retro serif typography at the top that says the name of the fruit, and a subtitle below in a smaller vintage font that reads, and then you can put in whatever. Now you don't have to just put 2 lines, you can add some other things in there as well, but this one's very simple. The design should have a 70s or 80s grocery ad vibe, right? Probably even 60s, I don't know. Centered composition, a clean layout, and no background elements, ideal for t-shirt print. A t-shirt print, use soft colors and include a minor aging effect like lighting, fading, or halftone dots all on a white background. So it kind of works. It's not as good as some of the things you'll find of Creative Fabrica, but you can update this and at least it will give you a start on what it would be. So have fun, use this prompt if you want, and make those vintage fruit label designs. I think those are very popular right now, especially on Etsy, but I've sold a bunch on Amazon already too. So the second one I'm calling boho floral t-shirts. You can see here I'm on Etsy. We'll do the whole thing over again. Etsy, I'm searching boho, bohemian, that's what it's short for, a floral t-shirt. And look at these. These are popular right now, top sellers and everything. You can see a lot of these look very similar to here. They're just kind of abstract flower designs. I'm talking about this one and this one, but there's lots of different ways to do these boho flowers, a lot of wildflowers, a lot of daisies and so on. So I'm talking about this one though. I've seen these kind of ones a lot and they're very popular right now. So let me show you how to find it. Well, you can see that there's actually some PNG files on Etsy that you can start with as well. If we go to ideogram, we can type in boho flowers t-shirt and look at these. This is kind of like the one I'm talking about right there, but there's some other wildflowers and flower designs on here, which is really cool. Playground as well. Look at this one, boho style. I'm just in t-shirts and I clicked on the tab that says floral. So they all have their same section or a section for it, a bunch of floral designs. This one's really cool. It's in the shape of a heart and so on. So you can scroll down here and this one's really cool too. So a lot of times you don't need the words with it. It's just the flowers. So I would get this one, maybe remix it, change the colors and stuff, remove the words, and you got a design. Mystic also has boho right here. And if you scroll down, you'll find some flower ones. There's one right there. There's some right here. So lots of floral ones as well. And if you go to Creative Fabrica and type in boho floral, check this out. Look at all of these designs that you can have here. Now again, I would take out the words, I would change it up a little bit. You don't want to have the exact same thing, but there's lots to start with here. This is a really cool pack right here, boho floral quotes, this one right here as well. And if you want to use Canva, you can come in here and type in abstract flowers. And a lot of them are premium, but there's a bunch of them that are not premium. So if I come in here and go, just show me the free abstract flowers, check that. That's totally free on Canva. So is this one right here, I think. Yeah, all of these are free on Canvas. So no excuses, you can do this pretty easy. I actually have a tutorial for this one. I'll put this one up here, the tutorial. And let me leave you with the prompt that I made to do this in AI. If you want to use ChatGPT or Midjourney or whatever, here's the prompt. So this prompt's pretty simple. It just says abstract boho floral illustration, simple vector style graphics, solid colors, no outlines, no words, just flowers, stems, and leaves. Use a flat graphic look with muted colors. The composition should be framed in a tall rectangular layout, perfect for a t-shirt, all on a solid white background so that you can click on that and remove the background. Works pretty good. It isn't perfect. I still think the flowers that you find on Canva and Creative Fabrica are probably better, but try this out if you like doing prompts and want to use AI. The third one I'm calling Vintage Mediterranean Market t-shirt. So here's how I found it on Etsy. I typed in vintage Italian t-shirt. So you can see there's some Italian designs here. There's this one, Italia here. There's this, Limone. You can also type in La Dolce Vita and you'll see some cool ones. Let me show you. La Dolce Vita, F-I-T-A. And here's some other ones, this sardines one, this one right here. So these it's a different style. It has that Mediterranean feel, hand-drawn feel, and all that stuff. So you can see how it looks here. You can find these, again, let's go to ideogram, and I typed in vintage Mediterranean t-shirt. Check it out. Some pretty cool ideas here. This one's kind of more like what we're talking about. There's some sardine ones here and so on. So some really cool ones. On Playground, I just went to vintage t-shirt. They have a vintage right here, and you can see this one kind of gives that feel, and there's some other ones as we scroll down here that can give that feel, but vintage is very popular for both this and the other one that we were talking about, the flowers and everything is vintage. On Mystic also has a vintage tab here, so you can scroll down and kind of see things like that. And then on Creative Fabrica, I typed in sardines first of all, and you can see here, pretty cool. These are really cool. And these have trendy hand drawn. So if I typed in that instead, let me go trendy hand drawn. You can see some of these really cool ideas. Now again, don't copy these exactly. Change the words, change it up, move things around and stuff. But this is a really good base for you to get this kind of style. You can see it's super popular right now. You've probably seen some of these on Etsy, some of these designs and stuff. So we definitely saw that one. And lastly, Canva, I typed in sardines, and you can see some sardines. I'm still on the free one. Let me go back off of free. And you can see more sardines here, some really cool designs. And you can also type in hand drawn, and I do Mediterranean here. And got some really cool ones like this. That's a really neat style. This is a really neat style. So, and I can do free too. Let's see what kind of stuff we have for free. Yeah, not as many for free, but there are some right here that you can use. So really, really cool ideas. I like that this is easy to do. I would have use a fun hand-drawn font with some of these and stick to just a couple of colors. You can see when we go to Etsy, there are only a couple of colors sometimes. So some of the times there's more than 2 colors, but yeah, some really neat stuff. Let me go back to one on the Etsy here. Yeah, see, this one only has red and blue. This one has maybe 3 colors and so on. This one and so on. So keep colors to a minimum and muted, and I think you can do a really cool idea on here and get some of the traffic that are looking for these vintage Italian t-shirts. Now let me show you the prompt that I made for this. All right, so here's a very simple prompt. I put retro European grocery style t-shirt design, off-white background, hand-drawn silhouette, woodblock illustration of, and then you put your main graphic. So in a lot of them has sardines, so you can put sardines in there. In blue and playful, handwritten text in all caps in red. So I'm trying to keep the blue and red. Now you can change blue and red to whatever colors, but I noticed that that's what they're using. And it's saying main text. So put the main text on there, whatever you want. Some Italian word would be cool. And then below the graphic have a longer phrase in Italian. I didn't specify, but I made it so that it matches. So I have in 2 lines in red script that matches the graphic. So it knows the graphic, then it's going to make something. And then use a clean layout with quirky spacing, 1980s Mediterranean poster aesthetic, artisan farmers market vibe, minimal color palette, flat artwork that looks silkscreen. This design should only have 2 colors. I should have put an S here. Red and blue, no backgrounds, no shadows, text, and a simple illustration on a solid white background. Now you can change out red and blue to whatever 2 colors you want, but it seems to be working really well. Maybe green and red or something like that. That would work too. So the 4th one I'm calling Vintage Postage Stamps Collage. And you can see here, I just typed in stamps t-shirt to find it on Etsy. And this one's pretty new. I think this is starting to get popular now. I'm seeing a lot of these. You can see popular now right here on this one. But basically it's stamps, but put in kind of a collage way. They usually don't overlap, but they're usually different kinds of stamps. Like some are tall, some are wide, and so on. Sometimes they're colorful, sometimes they're just one color. And you can see those right there. There's another one. Here's some other stamps and so on. Sometimes they're in a square, so I guess that would work, but sometimes they're turned. So get creative with these is what I'm saying. You can do a lot with these stamps. Now, where to find them on Ideogram, you can come in here and just type in the search stamps t-shirt, and there's some really, that's a cool one right there. And there's some other stamps right here and some fun ones. You can see these are just one color like we saw on some of them. If you go to Playground, you can type in as well my search. I did a search up here and I did vintage stamp templates. Basically just vintage stamps, and it shows you the template. So here's some stamps here, here's some stamps here. This is, like I said, this is pretty new, so a lot of the AI ones don't have it as part of their template. So very few, but you can make a bunch of these, like make, use Remix and then make 4 or more of these and then put them together. Here's on Mystic as well, not a lot on stamps, so this is something that you might be seeing in the future come in here as a style. On Creative Fabrica, I just typed in vintage stamps right here in the search, and you can see a bunch of cool vintage stamps that you could use and kind of put them together as well. Here's some nice ones right here and some vintage ones and so on. There's just so many different stamps styles. You might have to scroll down to find one that you like. On Canva, I just typed in vintage stamps, and you can see right here. One trick that I think could be helpful is, well, two, when you click on one, you're gonna see magic recommendations. So you can see all these stamps, and you can kind of put them together and move them around, which is really cool. The other thing I would say is, instead of just vintage stamps, put in a topic. So you can do fruit stamps, and then you can come in here and do the same thing. I like this fruit one. That's the magic recommendation, and I can put some of these other fruit ones together and stack them together and make a really nice thing. It doesn't have to be a square. It can be, some of them can be bigger, some of them can be smaller, and it can be up and down like this, and have fun with it. It's nice to kind of put them together like a puzzle piece, and it doesn't have to be a square shape or tall rectangle shape. It can kind of have broken edges like we saw in some of those. So this is a really fun one to do. There's lots of graphics to find on AI or Canva Creative Fabrica. So have fun with this. You can make multiple versions of these. One's for fruits, one's for different states or different things on vacation and things like that. So cool one, and it's just starting to get really popular on Etsy. I'm not sure if it's popular on Amazon yet, but hopefully as we make more and more of these, it does get popular. And here's the prompt that I made for this one: a whimsical collage of vintage postage stamps, each featuring charming vintage illustrations in a unified color palette. Include your theme, so fruits or states or whatever, with each stamp including a unique border, retro prints, textures, and hand-drawn or painted illustration style. Make the stamps all different sizes and orientations, some tall, some square, some long. Lay the stamps next to each other, but never covering each other, although sometimes with this prompt it does, and in random order so that it makes a unique shape, not just a basic square or rectangle. Flat lay, high resolution, no shadows, clean vector style layout, no words, all on a white background. So hopefully this works for you. Try it out. You may have to change a few things to make it work, but it worked a little bit for me on Ideogram, and it may work for you on some of the other ones. So the last one here, number 5, I'm calling Coastal Coquette. So take a look at this. I'm on Etsy. I typed in Coastal Coquette t-shirt. This is very popular. You can see popular, bestseller, bestseller. And basically it's illustrations with ribbons and seashells and other things on the beach. So take a look at that. There's a bunch of them here. Very, very popular right now, especially now that it's summer, people going to the beach, and Coquette's always been popular, so it's kind of a mashup with that. You can see some really cool styles here. It doesn't have to be just one color, although a lot of times it is, to give that vintage feel. Sometimes it's 2 colors, sometimes it's full muted colors. Sometimes on here it just has lots of colors. So have fun with this one. It can be in that Coquette, 9 square kind of thing, but it doesn't have to be. It can just be random and all of that. So you can see some of the stamps as well using this. So kind of the mashup of the stamps and the Coastal Coquette is kind of neat. All right, so Ideogram, come in here. I just typed in seashells t-shirt, and you can see a bunch of seashell stuff here. There's here. Just add some ribbons. Here's some with ribbons and things like that. Really cool. Here's one right here. That's already that Coquette seashells and stuff. On Playground, I typed in seashell t-shirt, and there's a bunch of other ones here, t-shirts with seashells and so on. Some really cool design ideas. On Mystic, I typed in seashell under search, so there's a bunch of seashells, and you can use this as a base and remix it. Ask it to add some ribbons to it and put it together. Now on Creative Fabrica, I came in here and I typed in Coastal Coquette, and take a look at these. So cool. Just use these and kind of move them around and put them in a nice different way. You don't want to just use that, but lots and lots of cool illustrations for things. And we got this kind of the stamp thing going on here, so we got those 2 very popular things mashing up. You can also type in seashells here. I'm going to type it in, show you what it is. So there's some really cool seashells as well. So nice illustrations, and some of them with ribbons too. So really cool. Of course, the same thing can be found on Canva here. I just typed in Coastal Coquette, and look at that. Some really cool ones. I wonder if there's any for free. I'm gonna just do free here. There's some for free, but a lot of them are pro versions, especially the nicer ones are really cool. I really like that. So it's not really coastal, but you can see you can do magic recommendations too and have a bunch of them. So if you find one that you like here, let's say this crab, and then do magic recommendations, you can have, you know, the other shell and this one, and you can make them all the same color and so on, and do the ribbons. In fact, you can also type in seashells here too and have a bunch of cool colored seashells as well. So if you want to go for that route, you can. So a lot of designs here on Canva as well. And let me show you the prompt that I came up with if you want to do this with AI. We'll look at it here. All right, so last prompt here, a hand-drawn pastel illustration set of cute summer beach-themed doodles, including seashells, starfish, bows, flip-flops, sunglasses. You can put whatever you want in here, watermelon slices, palm trees, and I have a whole bunch. Drawn in a soft vintage colors like pale pink, blue sky, and sandy beige, clean, thin line work with subtle texture and a whimsical coastal cottagecore aesthetic, arranged in a scattered sticker pack layout on a light cream background. Now you could do a white background on there as well. Flat 2D style, vector friendly, perfect for a t-shirt design. Keep all the graphics around the same size, because I noticed when I did this the first time, some were really big and some were really small, but you notice on those on Etsy, all of them were about the same size. And I said use only 2 colors. You can say use only 3 or 4 or whatever. And illustrations should look more like silhouettes, no words on a white background. So hopefully this helps. I tried to do one on ideogram and it came out pretty good. Of course, not as good as some of the ones if you put them together that you've seen on Creative Fabrica or Canva. I think putting it together yourself will actually make a better layout and better design. So there you go. Those are the top 5, in my opinion, of t-shirt styles for 2025, at least up to this point, 6 months in. Hopefully these were really helpful for you, and these can help you create those designs either on AI or using Canva or using your own things with Creative Fabrica. Now, if you want a tutorial, a step-by-step on one of these, let me know in the comments which one of these I should do a tutorial for, and I can go step-by-step on how to build it from scratch into something finished that you can upload to print on demand. Now, if you want more design tutorials, this is my latest one right here with the vintage flowers. So I already did that one. You can follow along. I used Canva and some other things on there to show you how to make that boho design. Thanks again for watching. And as always, guys, keep creating and keep learning. I'll see you on the next one.